Did you ever play a game and say to yourself, I wish this had more epic bosses? Well, if that's the case, the mod community is always there to help you out. There have been many great additions to games that are easily moddable over the years. In this video, we've picked out 10 mods that add epic bosses to your favorite games. And to no one's surprise, all these crazy mods can only be found on PC. The original Skyrim already has a couple of epic boss battles in the form of dragons. But wouldn't it be great to take on all sorts of giant monsters? The mod Here Be Monsters adds a series of epic boss battles to the game. You can take on a giant enemy crab and try to hit its weak spot for massive damage. There are also other enormous creatures in the game that give Godzilla a run for its money. So go ahead and add some big hulking monsters that squeeze some more fun out of this 6-year-old game. Minecraft is a pretty fun game where you can build anything. However, wouldn't it be better if it also had a giant sandworm in it? Enter the Horrible Creatures mod. This mod for Minecraft adds a wide variety of gigantic creatures to the game. You get a collection of eggs that spawn all sorts of enormous monsters. If you want scarier enemies to fight, you need to download the Nightmare Creature mod. This mod will add a bunch of scary monsters to the game that will spawn on your command. What do you think? Do giant monsters make Minecraft more interesting or not? Dota 2 is a very popular player versus player online game. It has computer-controlled monsters, but those only exist to make the player-controlled teams more powerful while they fight each other. However, there's a mod that turns this completely on its head. The mod's called Epic Boss Fight, and it has 5 players working together as they take on gigantic bad guys. This boss rush mode turns the game into Diablo, which is a kind of awesome. The bosses themselves are completely over the top and they sometimes don't even fit on the screen. This is definitely one of the best mods in this video.
Sorry, friend. I let you down.
Terraria is a pretty old game with a huge community behind it that keeps it alive. It has tons of mods, but the most ambitious by far is the Tremor mod. This is a total conversion that adds over 500 new items, loads of NPCs and 6 bosses to the game. The new bosses will challenge even the most experienced players as they are extremely difficult. The boss designs are quite original, as you can even fight a space whale at some point in the game. Taking on a flying space whale is something you just don't see every day. The boss rush mode for the original Dark Souls doesn't add new bosses to the game, but it does let you fight all the bosses at your own leisure. Instead of grinding through the enemies for hours in the game, you can simply take on the bosses directly. In regular boss rush, you start the bosses in the order you encounter them in the game. In reverse boss rush mode, you start with the game's final boss and work your way back to the beginning. It's a great addition that should have been in the Souls game from the start, frankly. Fallout 4 has 5 giant creatures in the game, and you even get an achievement if you kill them all. But what if those 5 giant beasts only made you hungry for more? Well, then you need to find the right mods to help you out. The Kaiju of the Commonwealth mod adds Godzilla to the game. Taking on a fire-spewing dinosaur in the wasteland is pretty epic. Godzilla will obliterate you if you don't know what you're doing. You should be wary of his atomic breath. That leaves a trail of destruction up to a mile long. So load up on nukes and go to town. Gary's mod is already a mod for Half-Life 2, but you could call it a standalone phenomenon at this point. Almost everything you can think of has been added to this mod, so finding a couple of epic bosses shouldn't be that hard. The Vindictus Bosses mod lets you fight bosses from the popular Korean MMO Mabinogi. The creature designs are pretty awesome, and they will give you a run for your money. The monsters are all huge and terrifying looking. You could always also just fire up the free-to-play MMO and see what they look like in the actual game. The Nexon Zombies mod for CounterStrike gives players the world of the undead. You will face all kinds of zombies alone or with a team of online players. It's a bit like Left 4 Dead really, and the mod even has a couple of bosses. Since the modding community loves to draw inspiration from almost anything, you can fight a wide variety of freaks. There's Kraken, a Balrog from Lord of the Rings, and even a giant evil teddy bear. Some games don't have to make any sense to be fun. Binding of Isaac has a high replayability since it mixes up the level design every time you start it. Maybe that's why this game from 2011 still has an active community. However, maybe you're tired of facing off against some of the same old bosses. Luckily, there are plenty of mods available that give players completely new bad guys to fight. Some of the designs are pretty questionable, but you can't be too harsh on something that's free. There's even a mod that lets you play as one of the bosses. Now that's a good way to switch things up. Ark, Survival Evolved, already has huge dinosaurs in the base game. However, for some people that clearly isn't enough, as the game has a ridiculous amount of mods. You can add huge mythical creatures to make the game a bit more fantasy if that's your thing. It's also possible to just download a bunch of gigantic monsters in a wide variety of extremely bright colors. The sky's the limit when it comes to modding in Ark. We expect a lot more craziness to appear in the future updates from the developers and the community. Those were 10 mods that add some epic bosses to your favorite games. Do you use mods to make your games even more awesome? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.